definitely a crazy, crazy week in the market, especially with shippers. I mean, my goodness, there was definitely money to be made on those stocks. However, it was definitely a matter of extremes. You know, you had dries, which led the whole pack, and basically that pulled all of the shippers up. So you saw ECs, you saw SHIP, you saw TOPS, you saw OPTT that also went up just because it had ocean in the name of it, ORIG as well. And they all were sympathy plays. So it just goes to show that when you have a stock moving in a sector, whether it's retailers, you know, restaurants, if it is cybersecurity, or say when you have something like Zika, you see that those stocks in that sector can really surge and go astronomically crazy in the market. As far as getting into dries, you know, some cases I felt really bad for some longs and some shorts. You know, the shorts, they got squeezed, and then the next day, after it was opened, after it was halted for a day and the news came out, they could have made some good money there if they had their short positions still. So it was definitely a life-changing stock for some people, and I applaud everyone that made money on it, and my heart goes out to those that lost big on it. You know, those are the type of stocks to trade where you want to trade cautiously. You want to capitalize on the profit and move forward. Don't get greedy. Don't try to have the fear of missing out and jump in too late and then have it go against you. Cut your losses. You know, it's not always easy to do, but it's going to be better in the long run, because you can see it went from 4 to 115 back down to 12 on Friday. So it's definitely a matter of extremes. Low float stocks have the ability to absolutely do that, skyrocket and then come right back down. It's the parabolic move, as Timothy Sykes says, where it just shoots up, and then as soon as the momentum stops, it can go down just as fast as it came back up. And you can make lots of money on both ends. Just make sure you're trading in the right direction at the right time. And watch for the sympathy plays too. They're not necessarily going to be as fast because they're not going to be as low float of a stock as well. For me personally, this week was a little tough. My daughter had croup, which is whooping cough, and had some other things going on with the pregnancy, stress, that sort of stuff, as well as a lot of bashing and haters on Twitter. You know, I mean, I've made success in the past year, and a lot of people, it seems like, just can't be happy for me. You know, if I was someone that said, hey, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to try to make all this money off of other people and not care about them learning, then, and be a true and utter bitch, like, okay, fine, then everything is justified. But honestly, I care about you guys. That's why I do this stuff. You know, I had requests to do training, so I put together a little small thing because people have been asking over and over and over again. You know, I'm not saying I'm God in the trading world. I've still got years of stuff to learn. You know, there's traders that have been out there for 25 years. Yes, I've found success. Yes, I can get better as well. I still have bad days. But the honest fact is I look to try to help others. And I'm not going to say that my strategy is going to work for everybody else, because basically it's a fingerprint. You know, you have your strategy of, you have your own way that you live your life. You have your own risk tolerance. You might not be an adrenaline junkie, so you might not want to trade super high momentum stocks. You might want to go on a slower moving stock and do more swing trades. So it all comes down to finding out your niche, but helping people to figure out what they want to do in moving forward, you know, and how to find the best strategy. And that's basically what I did in partnering with my friend Mandy. You know, it's not about, we're just going to make you an awesome trader overnight. It's not that easy. It does take time. It takes education. It takes devotion. And everybody has their own time frame for which to make it happen. So I'm frustrated because it hurts me, because I'm a caring person. I'm a mom. I'm a nurturer, right? I want to see everybody succeed. And it is possible if you put the time and effort in. So I just had to put that little rant in there. And then also RJETQ. You guys know that I was following that stock basically since they went into bankruptcy, because it had great success with Americans. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to see, maybe I can make some awesome money on this one too. And I was following the docket, and I was researching it every day to see the new news that was coming out, the court dates that were getting pushed back. Great news for the company, they are coming out of bankruptcy. However, bad news for the shareholders because the shareholders are at the bottom of the barrel, basically. With American, I went through and I read the reorganization plan for their Chapter 11, and it specifically stated that the shares were going to be converted over into new stock. It did have the same clause as 6.8 in the RJET docket, but it also said, because basically anytime the stock has the Q at the end of the symbol, they eliminate it and they cease it to exist. Now, sometimes, not every time, will they reissue it into a new stock. So in the RJET docket, it says, you know, it's going to cease to exist for the RJETQ except for people under classification 3A. So then I went in further, looked through the docket. Okay, 3A is for the unsecured creditors. Well, how, as a shareholder, are we represented in this document? Went up to the specifics, looked to see interest. Interest in the definitions were basically the people that have any shares of common stock. Now, obviously, this is 100% my interpretation. I am not a lawyer. And the interest of RAH, which is the Republic Airways Holdings, was classified under 5A. So basically 5A, you go down there again, and it says all of this stock is going to cease to exist as per this reorganization plan, which is just this version. Now, if they should go back and the court rejects it, or they have, say, large hedge funds that come in and say, hey, wait, we want representation, which is exactly what happened in American, that actually represented the shareholders so that they were able to get something out of the deal, then there's a potential that the stock could come back. But as the way it stands right now, RJETQ is going to basically go down to whatever date that the reorganization plan is accepted, which is to be voted on December 8th, and more than likely will turn to zero. After that point, they can issue new common shares, but those common shares don't have to be listed on the exchange. They could just be for management within the company, and it could go 100% private, or they could relist it again on NASDAQ so that they could raise more capital again. So that's where it stands. I sold all my position, which was a tough pill to swallow because I took about 56% loss on the capital that I invested in it. When I look back at how much I made from American, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a loss. However, it's still not easy to handle, and it was painful. And for everybody out there, I'm sorry that if you took a loss on it as well. I was looking forward to the positive news of the emergence and going ahead and making a boatload so that we could have a great winter this winter. But that's okay. You know what? There's more opportunities, just like dries. There's always stocks that are in movement. And coming up to my watch list for the week. So I came up with 5 longs and 5 shorts for you guys. For longs, I have BKE above 25.30, OCUL above 11.46, TWLO above 37.50, which is a low float, high short interest stock, as well as ALDW above 9.38, AQMS above 12.98, and TTD above 24.97. Now for potential shorts, there's ROST, if it breaks down below 66.50, IRTC below 30.06, LOPE if it breaks down through 55.50, KLIC if it breaks down below 14.50, AEGN if it breaks down below 23.50, and VRTV if it breaks down below 41.66. Now, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving week coming up. Don't forget the market is closed on Thursday, half day on Friday, and carpe profit. You know, seize those profits one at a time, and that's what's going to help to grow your account.